Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse is the same as the series on process of enlightenment. But we will start with Dhamma Chakka Pavatana Sutta, a bit of it. So, Dve me bhikkhave anta pabba jitena na sevitabba katame dve yochayam kamesu kama sukhallikanu yogo hino gammo potujjaniko anariyo anatta sanghitu yochayam atta kilimathanu yogo dukkho anariyo anatta sanghitu ete te bhikkhave ubho ante anupagamma madhyima patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha chakkhukarani jnanakarani upasamaya avinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya sangvattati. Now this is the beginning of the Dhamma Chakka Pavatana Sutta. Here Dhamma Chakka, the wheel of truth. There are two wheels. One is the wheel of freedom through Dhamma, and the other is the wheel of samsara, samsara chakka, the wheel of bondage through worldly involvements. So now these two wheels, they have tremendous symbolical meaning in Buddhism, and anyone who really is interested in developing, cultivating Dhamma in his day-to-day life should understand the significance of these two wheels. Now, before I go into the translation of what I read out now is, monks, these two extremes should not be resorted to by one who has renounced worldly life, which two, indulgence in sensual pleasures, which is base, vulgar, worldly, ignoble and unsalutary, and adherence to self-mortification, which is painful, ignoble and unsalutary. The monks, the middle path, which does not take recourse to both these extremes and which produces vision of Nibbana, liberation, arouses insight into ultimate reality, leads to ultimate peace, eternal peace, leads to supramundane direct experience of Nibbana, leads to enlightenment and to freedom from samsaric existence. Now this has been discovered by the truth bearer, the Tathagata. And now this is the translation of what I read out, the text. Based on this, we will proceed with the discourse today. The Buddha, after 2 months after his enlightenment, on the Vaisakha Purnima day, that is May month, on the full moon day of May, he remained in Samadhi, he plunged into Samadhi for 2 full months, exactly 7 weeks, and then on the 8th week, he also spent the whole time deciding as to whom he should teach the Dhamma, which is so profound. This tremendous, very profound spiritual discovery that is the result of hundreds and thousands of lives of great sadhana, great spiritual pursuit and great sacrifice, and heroic sacrifice indeed. So the result of such a tremendous spiritual discovery should be, available to the world for the good of the world. So the Buddha decided that he will now preach, but whom to preach first? Who has got the spiritual maturity to be able to understand? So he again plunged into samadhi. He exercised his supernormal powers and found out that the erstwhile 5 disciples, Panchavagya Bhikkhu, who had left him in the Uruvela, Bodh Gaya in the Uruvela forest, because they thought he has now, given up spiritual pursuit and taken to luxury, etc. And by simple, wrong kind of, by misunderstanding they left, without even telling him. So now they were staying in Benares, in Sarnath, and they were just, spending their time. They didn't know what to do. They had lost the opportunity of serving the master. So anyway, so Buddha saw that they had the requisite spiritual maturity and they will be able to understand when he unfolds his discovery. So he decided to go to Varanasi, to the Sarnath, and there he preached this, this particular text. He said there are these 2 extremes. One is the extreme of sensual indulgence. The other is the extreme of self-mortification, torturing oneself in the name of penance. Now these are very old and ancient religious practices actually. In the name of religion, all kinds of sensual indulgences are practiced all over the world. It is not only in India. Throughout the world you will see all kinds of practices which have nothing to do with spiritual development at all. But they are plainly, they tickle the senses and they enable a person to keep on enjoying sensual pleasures of some kind in the name of religion. There are hundreds of different ways of doing that. So then the opposite of it is equally true, which is in the name of religion you torture yourself. Now what are these psychological and the philosophical implications of these 2 practices? Now self-indulgence is born of, let us say, lobha, dosa, moha, or raga, dosa, moha. Lust, sensuality, greed, these are the motivating factors that motivate a human being to commit all kinds of actions, volitional actions, in the name of religion. That means with full delusion. While the mind, one believes that one is really doing something very good in the name of religion and all that, but is actually indulging. All the religious practices in India now you see, everything is tummy rooted. Food, food, food. Enjoy, eat. In the name of religion again in the West, they have these Christmas indulgences of all kinds. Terrible, terrible indeed. In the name of religious this thing, they kill hundreds and thousands of animals on certain days in Makkah, like Bakrid and all that sort of thing. Huge animals, they are all sacrificed in the name of religion just to enjoy food, eat, eat, eat. But you go and tell them, they will hit you. They will even kill you. They will say, you dare tell me? But the fact remains that this is nothing but indulgence, sensual indulgence. At that, you see, in the name of religion. And this is done because motivated by delusion, where you see everything topsy-turvy, just the opposite of the reality. That is delusion. So this belief system, Michha Ditti, the wrong views about spirituality, about religion, about truth, motivated by wrong views and delusion, people do all kinds of things. So now what are the implications of these practices? Whether they are done openly in a materialistic way, as in materialistic society they don't care about religion or anything, they just indulge. They say, yes, eat, drink and be merry. So long you live, eat, drink and be merry. Once you are dead, you don't know what is going to happen. So this kind of materialistic approach, or the opposite, religious approach in the name of that, what are the implications of this? Once you practice this kind of indulgences, you are plain and simple, you are creating a cycle in the sense that a repeated practice or repeated mental, you allow kilesas, mental defilements to arise in the mind. First of all, craving is a mental defilement. It pollutes the mind. And once it pollutes the mind, and everything, your vision, everything gets topsy-turvy and everything is just the opposite of reality. So once you allow the cycle of kilesa, or mental defilements to arise, it in turn, you see, it gives that inclination, that mental craving or that mental defilement now manifests in the form of an action, either bodily action, mental action, or verbal action and so on. So this kilesa cycle, or a little pinion, like in a clock, you have got these three pinions or three wheels, wheel within a wheel. So one wheel rotates, so in turn it rotates the other one, and that in turn rotates the other one. So this is how the kilesa cycle rotates. Once you crave for pleasure, indulge for, you indulge in sensuality of all kinds. You see things through the eye and you crave for it, you enjoy it. You hear things with your ear, that means all the six senses that you are equipped with. Through all these six senses as the door for letting in all kinds of images in the mind, leading to craving for them. And craving in turn makes you, it involves you in action, in karma, in volitional. You indulge, you gratify what you crave. And this indulgence and gratification of, what you crave, the object of craving. Now once you do that, you have, also the third cycle of vipaka, that is the result of the action, that cycle also begins to move. All the three cycles put together rotates the bigger cycle, the samsara chakra, the wheel of life. Now you keep on accumulating the potency. Every action has a potency, has certain power. Now a little baby who knows nothing about the world at all is just after parturition is born, and the first thing it does is it craves, it cries for food, for nutrition. It hugs the mother. And now in this, what is the drive behind? What makes that little baby who has just come out into this world cry and crave for nutrition? That is where the craving starts. So from the very beginning of life, the process starts. And with craving there is delusion, there is sense of I-ness, myness, I want this, I want that, So this is how kilesa after kilesa, mental defilement after defilements arise in the mind and pollute the mental atmosphere completely. And once the mind gets impure in this way, the mental environment gets completely polluted and the mind itself becomes impure. Then it begins to, the result is all kinds of impure, evil activity arising from such a mind. And these activities in turn produce result. It is the story of the hen and the egg. The hen gives birth to produces the egg, and the egg in return the hen. So you do a certain karma, an action, motivated by mental defilements. And this karma in turn gives a result. You see here, the results are experienced in this very life. Some results, some karmas produce result here and now, in this very life. And some can produce result only in the next life. And some many lives thereafter. And it goes on and on according to the potency of the karma, the power inherent in the karma. Now this karmic potency produces result, whether it is this life, next life, and any lives thereafter. And this accumulated potency at the end of life, you see, when you are facing death, which is bound to happen, because once you are born to die. You can't avoid. And in fact, birth and death is a process from every moment we are dying, every moment we are being reborn. With every breath that we take, we are born. And every breathing out, we are dying. So this process is going on in a micro level. Just as in a macro level you have got the final death, where all the cumulative, you say, karmic forces, they catapult the mind into a new state of existence in the form of a result. Result is not the same as you say karma itself. Just before dying, you commit a certain karma. How? Now, for instance, the death proximate karma, as it is called, 3 types of images will occur. Either you will see in the mind, like seeing a cinema, for instance, cinematograph. There is a series of activities that you have lived. You relive your whole life in matters of minutes. That time is relative. It's like, you see, the relativity of time can be seen in our nowadays very, very easily. You click one of the buttons in the computer and straight away, instantaneously, in New York somebody is getting a news. Somebody is getting, you see, the result of that clicking. So, the several thousand miles are covered by just an instant. So time really is very, very relative. It's relative to a particular situation. So now, at this last moment, you relive your life, so to say, in the form of the images of all the actions you have done. If you have done really strong, good karma, you have followed the Panchashila, let us say. Under very difficult circumstances, you stood firm and lived up to your moral commitment. You don't kill, but you promote the well-being of all life. You practice your metta, universal love. You practice compassion. boundless compassion towards everyone. You practice forbearance, tolerance. Now all these great spiritual qualities will accrue when you practice the Shila, Pancha Shila, the 5 principles. Similarly, for instance, when you give up stealing or taking anything which does not belong to you, you are practicing dana, the opposite of that. Instead of taking, you give. Now once you practice this type of precepts or the sila, you see, virtuous conduct, virtuous precepts, your mind also is changing. So now, if you indulge in sensuality, your mind gets polluted. But if you are practicing the opposite of sensuality in the form of, let us say, a renunciation of sensuality and self-control, you practice self-control and you are abstemious, you follow all the Panchashilas, you don't indulge in sexual misconduct of any kind, you are loyal to your family values. Now all those things also rotate the cycle, the 3 cycles with which your mind is equipped. The negative cycle runs, you see, clockwise. Now once you practice the sila, automatically it will be anti-clockwise. So the same, you see, cycle, the klesha cycle, now will be motivated instead of by greed. You see, it will be motivated by renunciation, by self-control, and by moral purity. So, once you reverse the old habit of indulgence and take to, you see, pure life, morally pure life. If you are a family man, stick to your family code and be very loyal and very good in every way. You give your life for the sake of your partner, for the sake of your children. That's a great heroic act. Now that purifies the mind, that, you see, rotates the same cycle anti-clockwise. Then once you do that, you are also creating karma. This is the, you see, sila is the opposite of evil karma. Sila is good karma. So same good karma now, you see, rotates the karmic cycle anti-clockwise. Kantakena kantakam vishasya vishamaushadham evam karmena karmam nasetavyam, said Lord Buddha. You pluck out a thorn with another thorn, another prickly thing, or with one kind of poison you neutralize the other. When you take modern medicine today, all these medicines are just poison, and they do cure, because the disease is caused by poison. So by another poison you remove the disease. It's as simple as